Hello boys, welcome back to another video tutorial session, and this session is meant for class 12th biology students, and this is meant for 22nd July 2020. And in this session we are going to start a new chapter number 10, microbes in human welfare. And I should tell you here that one of the chapters in this unit is deleted, that is chapter number 9. So we are directly going into the next chapter, that is chapter 9, strategies for enhancement in food production, animal husbandry, plant breeding, tissue culture, single cell protein. These are removed or deleted for your batch. Hence we are going to the next chapter number 10, microbes in human welfare. And in this, as all of you know, what are microbes? The microbes are the organisms which are not visible to the naked eye, and we need a microscope. So under microscope, all those organisms that can be seen are called as microbes, and these include, as all of you know, bacteria, protozoans, yeasts, and viruses. So you can say bacteria, virus, protozoan, and fungus. And in the fungus, yeast, of course, because fungus, some of the organisms are multicellular. So that is the reason. So these are diverse. Where do you see them? Microbes are omnipresent. They are present in the soil, they are present in the air, they are present in the water, they are present on the surfaces of the other organisms. Hence we say omnipresent. So they are diverse in nature. So protozoans are microbes, like you have seen already some of the protozoans in lab, like amoeba, paramecium, euglena, and the malaria causing protozoan, which is that? Try to recollect it. Yes. So you have seen all those, and then bacteria, fungi, and some of the plant viruses. And there are smaller organisms, smaller than viruses, they are called viroids, and also prions, that is proteinaceous infectious agents, they are called prions. Prions also microscopic. So microbes like bacteria and fungi can be grown in nutrient medium to form culture. So we can have bacterial culture and fungal culture, we can grow it in our lab, and they can be seen, the culture can be seen in naked eyes. And some microbes cause diseases and some are useful for human beings. So microbes are both, they are disease causing organisms as well as very, very useful. And as I said, there is no place where microbes are not there, including the thermal vents where the temperatures will be 1000 degrees centigrade, deep down in the soil, under snow with minus degrees, minus 30-40 degrees centigrade. And the protozoa, bacteria, fungi, virus, viroids, prions, all these will be present in varieties of habitats, and they are basically medically very, very useful, as most of the microbes produce antibiotics, and these antibiotics are very, very useful to the diseases caused by another set of microbes. That is the wonderful nature of the microbes. Some microbes, they are very useful in producing antibiotics, and the antibiotics that we produce from the microbes will be used against disease causing microbes. That's the wonderful thing of this. And in household, in day to day, where is that we are using these microbes? A very common example during your lunchtime or dinner time, whenever you are eating curds, you know that the curds is converted milk. So milk gets converted into curds because of a microorganism called lactobacillus. It's also called milk bacteria, lactobacillus. And another commonly called one is LAB, LAB, lactic acid bacteria. So lactobacillus and lactic acid bacteria, they are present in milk and they convert the milk into curds. During the growth, the lab produces acids. That's why we are using the word lactic acid bacteria. The lab produces acids that coagulate and partially digest the milk proteins. It also improves the nutritional quality by increasing vitamin B12. Very, very important. B12 is very, very essential for us. And that vitamin B12 naturally we will get it when we eat curds. That's the reason why I said to many boys whenever they are consuming food in the mess to have curds. So don't miss the curds. In our stomach too, lab play a very beneficial role in checking diseases caused by microbes. So lactic acid bacteria lab convert lactose sugar of milk into lactic acid. This is the chemical reaction. I will repeat, lactic acid bacteria LAB convert lactose sugar of milk. Lactose is present in milk and that lactose sugar is converted to acid, lactic acid. And lactic acid causes coagulation of milk. And what actually gets coagulated? The milk protein. What is the name of the protein that is present in the milk? It is casein. So casein gets coagulated, means broken, form a gel because of lactic acid. And milk is changed into curds, yogurt and cheese. Curd is prepared by inoculating cream and skimmed milk with Lactobacillus acidophilus, even at temperatures below 40 degrees centigrade. Yogurt is produced by curding milk. It's curled, C-U-R-D-L-I-N-G, curling milk with the help of Streptococcus thermophilus. You have to remember this, Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus bulgaricus. So yogurt is prepared out of milk with the presence of these two bacteria. And buttermilk is acidulated product which is formed by inoculating skimmed milk with the starter culture of Streptococcus cremoris and Streptococcus lactis and Lactobacillus acidophilus. All these species at 22 degrees centigrade for 18 hours. That's buttermilk. And of course, we are also very, very familiar with fermentation. That is dough, which is used for making bread. We have got our own bread, our own bakery in our mess. And there, your mess manager will be using what is called baker's yeast, the small powder. That baker's yeast contains the Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Remember, it is yeast, it is not bacteria. Yeast is a fungus. Remember, yeast is a fungus. Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So, yeast is helping in fermentation. Now, what do you mean by fermentation? As you have studied in your junior classes, it is conversion of sugar into alcohol. So sugar getting converted to alcohol is fermentation. And toddy, of course, in some of the parts in Karnataka also, there are trees, toddy trees, and these toddy trees, they extract toddy, that's a country liquor. It's a traditional drink of some parts of South India made by fermenting sap. The sap of the palm tree will be taken and that will be fermented, and in the fermentation this baker's yeast is added. And of course, another very important and common thing that you eat in your mess, that is cheese. And the cheese is the partially degraded concentration of milk fat and the milk protein, casein, and it is manufactured by microorganisms. Swiss cheese is characterized by characteristic flavor and large holes, as you are seeing. Look at this. There are very big holes are there in the Swiss cheese. The large holes, the formation of the big sized holes are due to the amount of CO2 released by thermophilic bacteria. Thermo means temperature, philic loves temperature. And what is the thermophilic bacteria? Propionibacterium shermani. Propino, look at the spelling, it's a long one. Practice once all these names, biological names. Propionibacterium shermani. And Roquefort cheese, as you are seeing here, white one, Roquefort cheese is characterized by greenish blue mottling. It is ripened by Penicillium roqueforti. It is done by Penicillium roqueforti. It is probably the best known cheese made from sheep's milk. And Camembert cheese employs Penicillium camembert for ripening. So it is the Penicillium which is helping in ripening. And the dough that is used, numerous food items, not only just bread, it helps in the preparation of dosa, idli, vada, all these buns, biscuits, cakes. In all this, fermentation process is used. The dough which is used for making dosa and idli is allowed to ferment overnight for 10 to 12 hours. You must have seen in your own home, since you are all at home, your mummy preparing. The bacteria which come from atmosphere, particularly the Streptococcus, cause fermentation so that the dough increases in volume and gets sour. Increase in the volume of dough is due to carbon dioxide gas, the CO2 released, and that results in fermentation. Bread is made from, of course, flour obtained by grinding cereal grain, usually wheat, or sometimes it is maida also. Maida bread and wheat bread. So you call it white bread and brown bread. Selected strains of Saccharomyces cerevisiae grown on molasses are used as baker's yeast. A small quantity of yeast is added to wheat flour and kneaded. The kneaded flour is kept at warm temperature for few hours and it swells up. The phenomena is called leavening, and all those boys who have seen our bakery, you must have seen our bakery in charge making all this. And other household products. Today, a traditional drink of South India is made by fermented latex obtained from toddy palm and coconut water. It undergoes fermentation with the help of naturally occurring yeast. It is a refreshing drink which can be heated to produce jaggery, bella. Other foods like tempeh in Indonesia, tofu in Japan, sufu in China are fermented foods obtained from soya beans. So from soya beans also fermentation can be done. Soya sauce is brown flavored salty sauce fermented from soya beans and wheat. So several types of sauces are prepared by fermentation, and curing of fish and meat is also done with the help of microbes. So these are the various uses of microbes in household products. And in our next session, we will discuss about the role of various microbes in industrial products, how industrial products are formed, and what are the various microbes that play a crucial role in this. Until then, please write all the biological names of microbes that we have listed today. Take care of the spelling.